So, the cloud. We hear that term thrown around all the time, right? Our photos, our files, even our favorite shows, they all supposedly live there. But what does that even mean? What is it really? Well, let's pull back the curtain and see what's actually making it all tick.
I'm sure you've heard that cynical little joke, right? There's no cloud, it's just someone else's computer. And you know what? There's a little bit of truth to that. But honestly, that line totally misses the amazing story of how we got here. So is it just someone else's computer? Well, yeah, kind of. But the real answer? Oh, it's so much cooler than that.
Okay, to really get what the cloud is all about, we have to go back in time a little. We need to understand the big problem it was built to solve. So let's take a look at how things used to be done.
So, back in the day, all the computing power was crammed into one single spot. I want you to picture this, a gigantic, super powerful mainframe computer, literally the size of a room, acting as the one and only brain for everything. Everybody else, they were just connected to it with these simple terminals. Think of them like puppets on a string. All the heavy lifting, all the real processing happened in that one central machine. But you can probably see the problem here, right? This whole setup had a massive, critical flaw. I mean, what happens if that one giant computer hiccups? Or worse, goes down completely? Yep, everything stops. For everyone. It's what we call a single point of failure, and it was a huge, huge risk. As we started depending more on computers, this became a problem we absolutely had to fix. And the solution that came along was, well, it was a totally new way of thinking. The idea was, hey, instead of putting all of our eggs in one basket, what if we spread the work out across lots of different computers? And that, right there, was the birth of distributed systems. This idea is the foundation for pretty much everything we use today, the modern internet, and, you guessed it, the cloud. So you can really see the shift here. On one hand, you've got the old way, one central brain, one single point of failure. If it goes, you're toast. But on the other hand, with distributed computing, you have a whole team of independent computers all working together. Now, if one of them fails, no big deal. The others just pick up the slack. That single point of failure, gone. And this distributed setup gives you all these amazing new powers. It's fault-tolerant, which is just a fancy way of saying it doesn't break easily. It can share resources, balance the work out evenly, and, this is the big one, it's scalable. What does that mean? It means if you need more power, you don't have to build a bigger brain, you just add another computer to the team. It's this incredible flexibility that allowed the internet to explode into the giant thing it is today. Okay, so now we've got this awesome new model. It's powerful, it's scalable, it's tough to break. So what's the next big step? Well, this next idea was a total game changer. Someone thought, what if we take all this computing power and sell it like a utility, something you can just tap into whenever you need it, just like flipping on a light switch or turning on a faucet? And this analogy just nails it. Think about it. If you have to drive to work every single day, you probably buy a car, right? But if you just need a ride to the airport once in a while, you grab a cab. It's the exact same logic with computing. If you need a server chugging away 24/7, sure, maybe you buy one. But what if you only need a ton of power for just a few hours a month? Well, renting it suddenly makes way more sense. And that is the simple, brilliant idea at the heart of the cloud.
So here's the key takeaway. Cloud computing isn't some brand new thing that came out of nowhere. It's the natural evolution of distributed systems, all neatly packaged up as a pay-as-you-go service. It's decades of computer science know-how, basically turned into a product that makes incredible power available to anyone, as long as you have an internet connection.
All right, so we've established you can rent computing power. But what are you actually renting? Well, you can think of it kind of like a restaurant menu. There are different options depending on how much of the cooking you want to do yourself. It really breaks down into three main layers. At the very bottom, you have infrastructure as a service, or IaaS. This is like renting the raw ingredients, the servers, the storage, the networking. You get the basics, and you build from there. One level up, you've got platform as a service, or PaaS. This is like renting a whole kitchen. The oven's there, the stove's there. You just bring your recipe and start cooking your app. And then at the very top, we have software as a service, or SaaS. This is like just ordering the finished meal. It's ready-to-go software that you just use, like your email or your favorite file-sharing app. Now, obviously, just like renting an apartment or a car, there's some fine print. There are rules. When you sign up for a cloud service, you're basically signing a contract, and it's really important to know what you're agreeing to. And that contract has a name, a Service Level Agreement, or SLA for short. This is the important part. It's where the cloud provider puts their promises in writing. They spell out exactly what level of service you're going to get, with guarantees for things like performance and, crucially, availability, which is just how much time they promise the service will be online and working. And they get super specific with these guarantees. You'll hear people talk about 5 nines of availability. That means 99.999% uptime. Now, that number might sound abstract, but think about what it means. It translates to less than 6 minutes of downtime for the entire year. That's not just some marketing slogan. It's a cold, hard contractual promise that massive businesses bet their operations on. Which brings us right back to that big nagging question from the beginning. If my stuff is on someone else's computer, is it safe? Is it secure? And this is, without a doubt, the #1 worry for pretty much anyone thinking about using the cloud. Well, the answer isn't just about technology and firewalls. It really comes down to what you could call a trust triangle. It starts with trust. Do you actually believe the provider can and will protect your stuff? That trust is built on their reputation. What's their track record? And then you have to weigh all of that against your personal risk. What do you stand to lose if things go sideways? Choosing a cloud provider isn't just a tech choice. It's a huge business decision. Okay, let's wrap this all up. The cloud, it's not magic. It's simply the next step in the evolution of computing, building on the idea of distributed systems. It's what turns computing power into a utility you can rent, just like water or electricity. You can rent the basic parts, the whole workshop, or the finished meal, and it's all held together by legal agreements and, most importantly, by trust. So the next time you save a photo to your phone or stream your favorite show, you'll know the incredible story behind it, this journey from one giant room-sized brain to a global utility we can all tap into. And that leaves me with one final question for you. We've seen how this idea turned computers and software into a service you can rent. So, what's next?